In the quiet coastal city of Bellingham, Washington, the winter of 2019 arrived with a biting chill. But inside a small apartment on Texas Street, a far more malevolent cold was taking hold. This is the story of Hazel Homan, a 3-year-old girl whose life was not taken by a sudden accident, but extinguished through a systematic campaign of frequent and fierce physical abuse. Hazel was a child described by those who knew her as a bright light, vibrant, curious and innocent child. That light began to dim when she was placed in the care of her father's girlfriend, Kamee Dixon. What followed was a descent into a private hell that the legal system would later characterise as nothing short of torture. On the morning of the 27th of November, just one day before Thanksgiving, 911 dispatchers received a frantic call. Hazel was unresponsive. When paramedics arrived, they found the child whose body was a roadmap of trauma. She was rushed to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle, but the damage was irreversible. Hazel was pronounced dead on the 30th of November. The trial, which concluded in 2022, was a harrowing journey through the evidence of Hazel's final weeks. Prosecutors argued that Dixon's frustration with the child manifested in explosive violence, while the defence attempted to suggest that Hazel had a pre-existing medical condition that made her prone to easy bruising and sudden collapse. The jury saw through the smoke. But the brain injuries were only the final blow. The examination uncovered a history of healed and fresh injuries, a pattern of bruising across her tiny torso, a chemical burn in her eye from a cleaning agent, and a tragic lack of medical intervention from previous wounds. Investigators found that in the months leading up to her death, Hazel had been subjected to repeated patterns of abuse that Dixon had managed to hide from the world through manipulation and isolation. The trial, which concluded in 2022, was a harrowing journey through the evidence of Hazel's final weeks. Prosecutors argued that Dixon's frustration with the child manifested in explosive violence, while the defence attempted to suggest that Hazel had a pre-existing medical condition that made her prone to easy bruising and sudden collapse. The jury saw through the smoke. Kamee Dixon was found guilty of homicide by abuse and second-degree murder. In a courtroom filled with the heavy silence of a life lost too soon, she was sentenced to just 34 years in prison, the maximum allowed by law. Hazel's name remains a haunting reminder of the failures in the systems meant to protect the vulnerable. She was a child who deserved a lifetime of Thanksgivings, but instead her journey ended in a sterile hospital room, a victim of the very person charged with her care.